Dorothy Williams was 81 years old and couldn't remember her daughter's name. She didn't recognize her granddaughter's face. She'd forgotten 60 years of marriage to her late husband, but when Taylor Swift's Shake It Off started playing, Dorothy knew every single word. What happened when Taylor Swift found out about this grandmother's mysterious connection to her music will make you believe in the power of songs to transcend even the cruelest disease. It was October 2023 at Sunrise Memory Care Facility in Nashville, Tennessee. In room 237, an elderly woman sat by the window, staring at nothing, her mind trapped somewhere between past and present, reality and fog. Her family visited daily, hoping for even a moment of recognition. What they discovered instead would capture the world's attention and lead to one of the most emotionally powerful moments in music history. Dorothy Williams had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease 3 years earlier. At first it was small things, forgetting where she'd put her keys, repeating stories she'd just told, losing track of time. Her family had laughed it off as normal aging, but the disease moved fast. Within a year, Dorothy couldn't live alone. Within 2 years, she needed full-time care. By year 3, she'd forgotten almost everything that had once defined her life. She didn't know she'd been a schoolteacher for 40 years. She didn't remember her wedding day or the birth of her daughter. She couldn't recall her late husband Harold's face, and every day she asked where he was, experiencing the grief of his death over and over, as if hearing the news for the first time. Her daughter Sarah visited every day, and each time Dorothy looked at her like a stranger. "Who are you?" she'd ask. "I'm Sarah, Mum. I'm your daughter." Dorothy would look confused, sometimes apologetic. "I'm sorry, I don't remember you." Those 4 words broke Sarah's heart every single day. Sarah's daughter Emily was 19 years old and had grown up listening to Taylor Swift. During college breaks, she'd visit her grandmother at Sunrise Memory Care, and she'd notice something strange. One day, Emily was playing music on her phone, Taylor Swift's Love Story, when Dorothy suddenly perked up. Her blank stare vanished, her eyes focused, and she started singing. Every word, every note, perfect. Emily stopped the song, shocked. "Grandma, do you know who I am?" Dorothy looked at her blankly. "No, dear, should I?" Emily tried another song. "You Belong With Me." Same result. Dorothy sang along flawlessly, then immediately forgot Emily's name. It became a ritual. Emily would visit, play Taylor Swift, and for those 3 or 4 minutes of each song her grandmother seemed almost normal, present, alive. But the moment the music stopped, Dorothy disappeared back into the fog. In early October, Emily decided to document what was happening. She set up her phone camera during a visit and conducted an experiment. First, she asked Dorothy a series of simple questions. "What's my name?" "I don't know." "Who's the president?" No answer. "What year is it?" 1965. It was 2023. Then Emily played Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift. Dorothy's face transformed. She sang every word, even the complicated bridge, without missing a beat. She was smiling, she was engaged, she was there. After the song ended, Emily asked again, "What's my name?" Dorothy looked at her blankly. "I'm sorry, sweetheart, I don't know." Emily posted the video on TikTok with a simple caption, "My grandma has Alzheimer's. She doesn't know my name, but she knows every Taylor Swift lyric. Music versus memory. Taylor wins." She expected maybe her friends would see it. Maybe a few hundred views. Within 24 hours, the video had 5 million views. Within 48 hours, it was on the news. Dr. Ryan Chen, Dorothy's neurologist, was fascinated by the case. He'd seen music's effects on Alzheimer's patients before, but never to this extreme degree. The part of the brain that processes music and stores song lyrics is one of the last areas affected by Alzheimer's, he explained to Sarah. It's why dementia patients can often sing songs from their youth, even when they can't remember their children's names. But Dorothy's case is remarkable. She's remembering current songs, recent music, not just nostalgia from decades ago. News outlets picked up the story. CNN ran it. Good Morning America featured it. The video went viral across every platform, accumulating over 50 million views in just a week. The comments section became a support group. "My dad has Alzheimer's. Music is the only time we get him back. This made me cry. Someone please send this to Taylor. This is why music therapy should be covered by insurance." And then, buried among thousands of comments, one from a verified account. I just saw this. I'm in Nashville next week. Can I visit? Minus Taylor Swift. Emily thought it was fake. She checked it was really Taylor's account. She screenshotted it and called her mother, screaming. Taylor's team reached out directly. They wanted to arrange a private visit. No press, no cameras except what the family wanted for their own memories. Just Taylor and Dorothy. Sarah was nervous. Should we tell her? Should we prepare her? Dr. Chen advised against it. She'll forget within minutes anyway. Let her experience it fresh. It'll be more authentic that way. The visit was scheduled for the following Thursday afternoon. Taylor would come to Sunrise Memory Care between studio sessions. Total secrecy. Even the facility staff was only told an hour in advance. Emily could barely sleep the night before. Her grandmother, who didn't know her name, was about to meet the biggest star in the world. Thursday, 2 p.m. Dorothy sat in her room, staring out the window at nothing. Sarah and Emily were there for their regular visit. Dorothy had asked who they were 3 times in the past 20 minutes. There was a knock on the door. Nurse Carla opened it, smiling. "Dorothy, you have a visitor." Taylor Swift walked in. She was dressed casually, jeans, a simple t-shirt, minimal makeup. But even dressed down, there was no mistaking who she was. Taylor walked slowly into the room, nervous in a way she rarely was. "Hi, Dorothy," she said softly. "My name is Taylor." Sarah and Emily held their breath. Dorothy looked at Taylor. Her eyes, usually so blank, suddenly focused. Her face changed, recognition spreading across her features like sunrise. "Taylor?" Dorothy said, her voice clear and certain. "Taylor Swift?" Taylor's eyes filled with tears. Yes, it's me." "Oh my God," Dorothy said, coherent, shocked, excited. "You're here. You're really here. I love you so much." Sarah broke down crying. Emily's hands were shaking as she recorded on her phone. Dorothy hadn't recognized her own daughter that morning, but she recognized Taylor Swift instantly. Taylor sat down next to Dorothy, taking her hand gently. "I heard you know all my songs. Every single one," Dorothy said proudly. "I listen to them every day." "Well, I think I do. Sometimes I forget." She laughed, a real laugh, self-aware, present. "Would you sing one with me?" Taylor asked. Dorothy didn't hesitate. She started singing Love Story, her voice wavering with age but strong with certainty. Taylor joined in, and they sang together, Dorothy never missing a word. When the song ended, Taylor was crying. "That was beautiful, Dorothy. I used to be a singer," Dorothy said. Then she paused, confused. "Was I? I think I was. Or maybe I just loved singing. I can't remember anymore." "It's okay," Taylor said gently. "You're singing now. That's what matters." For the next 30 minutes, something miraculous happened. Dorothy was present, truly present, in a way she hadn't been in months. She and Taylor talked. Real conversation. Dorothy told stories about discovering Taylor's music. Her granddaughter had introduced her. Why the songs meant so much to her. They tell stories like little movies. Which album was her favorite? Folklore, because it feels like autumn. Dr. Chen watched from the corner, taking notes, astounded. In his 20 years treating Alzheimer's patients, he'd never seen anything quite like this. They sang 5 songs together: Shake It Off, You Belong With Me, Love Story, Anti-Hero, and All Too Well. Dorothy knew every word to every song. Her face was animated, alive, joyful. Taylor pulled out a photo from her bag, a picture of herself signed, "To Dorothy, thank you for loving my music. You'll never know how much you've inspired me. All my love, Taylor Swift." Dorothy held the photo, reading the inscription carefully. "I'll treasure this forever," she said. Taylor smiled sadly, knowing that forever for Dorothy might only be a few more minutes. As Taylor prepared to leave, she turned to Sarah. "Thank you for sharing her with me. This has been one of the most meaningful experiences of my life." Sarah, tears streaming down her face, hugged Taylor. "Thank you for seeing her. For really seeing her. You gave us back our mother for 30 minutes. That's more than we've had in a year." Taylor knelt down next to Dorothy's chair one last time. "Dorothy, I have to go now, but I'm so glad I got to meet you." Dorothy smiled. "Me too, dear. Will you come back?" "I promise to always be with you," Taylor said, through the music. They hugged. Dorothy held on tight, as if some part of her knew this moment was precious, even if she couldn't articulate why. Taylor left the room, wiping her eyes. In the hallway, she stopped and leaned against the wall, overwhelmed by emotion. 10 minutes after Taylor left, Dorothy turned to Sarah and said, "Excuse me, miss, when is my daughter coming to visit?" Sarah's heart broke and mended simultaneously. "I'm your daughter, Mum." Dorothy looked confused. "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you." She'd forgotten Taylor's visit, but Emily had the video, the proof, the miracle. Dr. Chen was fascinated by what he'd witnessed. He began researching, writing, analyzing Dorothy's case. He discovered that Dorothy's brain had stored Taylor Swift's songs not in episodic memory, where we store events and people, but in procedural memory, where we store skills and habits. That's why she could remember song lyrics perfectly while forgetting her daughter's face. He published a paper, Music Memory in Advanced Alzheimer's, a case study of preserved lyrical recall, despite severe cognitive decline. The paper went viral in medical communities. Researchers around the world began studying music therapy more seriously as a potential treatment for Alzheimer's and dementia. When Taylor heard about the research, she immediately donated $2 million to Alzheimer's research, specifically to programs studying music therapy. In a statement, she wrote, "Dorothy taught me that music isn't just entertainment. It's a lifeline. It's memory. When memory fails, it's identity when identity fades. Every person with Alzheimer's deserves to have their music, their songs, their moments of clarity. I'm committed to helping make that possible." 2 weeks after Taylor's visit, Dorothy's condition deteriorated rapidly. She stopped eating. She stopped speaking. She barely opened her eyes. Doctors told the family she had days, maybe hours. Emily sat by her grandmother's bedside, gently placing earbuds in Dorothy's ears. She played Taylor Swift's music softly, the songs Dorothy had sung so perfectly just days before. Dorothy didn't open her eyes, but her lips moved, barely perceptible, but moving, mouthing the words. "That's right, Grandma," Emily whispered. "You know it. You'll always know it." Dorothy Williams died that evening with Taylor Swift playing in her ears. Her last word, according to Emily, was beautiful, a word from Love Story, the last song playing. She was 81 years old. She'd forgotten her own name by the end, but she never forgot the songs. At Dorothy's funeral, over 100 people gathered to celebrate her life. The service included Taylor Swift songs, Dorothy's favorites, played softly as people shared memories. What nobody expected was that Taylor Swift would call in via video connection. She'd asked the family for permission to say a few words. Her face appeared on a screen at the front of the chapel. She was crying. "I only met Dorothy once," Taylor said, her voice breaking, "but she changed my life. She showed me something I'd always hoped was true but never fully understood, that music is more powerful than disease, that love transcends memory, that even when everything else fades, songs remain." She paused, collecting herself. Dorothy forgot her daughter's name, she forgot her husband, she forgot her own life story, but she remembered my lyrics. And that's not about me, that's about the power of music to reach parts of the brain and soul that disease can't touch. Dorothy, wherever you are, thank you. Thank you for teaching me why I do what I do. You'll never be forgotten. There wasn't a dry eye in the chapel. After Dorothy's death, Taylor Swift established the Dorothy Williams Music Memory Foundation, dedicated to providing music therapy for Alzheimer's and dementia patients. The foundation partnered with memory care facilities across the country, creating personalized playlists for patients based on their favorite songs and artists. They trained staff in music therapy techniques. They provided instruments, headphones and speakers to facilities that couldn't afford them. In the first year, the program reached over 50 memory care centers and helped more than 5,000 patients have moments of clarity, joy and connection through music. Emily became a spokesperson for the foundation, sharing her grandmother's story at conferences and fundraisers. The video of Dorothy and Taylor singing together has now been viewed over 300 million times. And across the country, in memory care facilities from New York to California, elderly people with Alzheimer's are singing songs they love, finding themselves again for a few precious minutes, experiencing the same magic that Dorothy experienced. Dorothy Williams lived for 81 years. For the last 3, she lived in a fog, losing pieces of herself until almost nothing remained. But music, specifically, Taylor Swift's music cut through that fog and gave her moments of clarity, of joy, of being herself. The doctors can't fully explain it. The neuroscience is complex and still being studied, but the family knows what they witnessed. Love expressed through music is stronger than disease. Taylor Swift wrote songs about heartbreak and joy, about growing up and growing older, about life's ups and downs. She never imagined that those songs would become a lifeline for an elderly woman losing her memories. But that's the thing about music. You never know who's listening. You never know whose life you're saving. You never know what your songs will mean to someone in their darkest moment. Dorothy forgot her daughter. She forgot her husband. She forgot her own name. But she never forgot the songs, and in the end the songs remembered her too. Because now, whenever someone hears about Taylor Swift visiting a memory care facility to sing with a woman who couldn't remember her own family, they remember Dorothy Williams. They remember the grandmother who proved that music transcends memory. They remember the woman who taught the world that even when everything else is lost, songs remain. And they remember that sometimes the most powerful thing a superstar can do is sit in a small room with an elderly woman and sing. Because in that moment, Dorothy wasn't a patient. She wasn't a case study. She wasn't a woman losing her mind to a terrible disease. She was just a person who loved music, singing with someone who understood what that meant. And for 30 perfect minutes, she was herself again,